Hi, Drake.
Happy Tuesday, Joanne. I mean, just how has the day been so far? Said you got back from sparring. How was that? Just how is everything right now?
Yeah, everything's going good. Kind of in the midst of it for fight camp. Another 4 weeks to go, and yeah, this morning was good. I was in the chamber for a warm up before sparring, and then sparred, and then straight home to speak to your good self.
All right. Well, yeah, greatly appreciated, of course. And as we were figuring out, I don't want you to move the camera again, but I thought I saw balloons. Did you have a party recently or something over there?
Oh yeah, it was my husband's birthday last week. So yeah, I've got it was his birthday, then Father's Day, and then my stepson's this weekend as well. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, June and July is crazy month for us.
Yeah, lots of celebrations. So happy birthday to Big Wood, of course, and everybody else. Lots going on. Is that kind of bad timing for you with the camp and everything, or is it like kind of good to distract yourself with those things?
It's a good distraction, and I feel like uh, I I do well with all those distractions. Like I can do it all. Like there would be something wrong if there was just my fight camp.
Right.
I'd
Right.
be like, what am I doing? Like, so it is definitely a good distraction. And I feel like I've always got something going on. In 2 seconds, if you hear that bell, that's my puppy needing to go to the bathroom. So
Okay.
I'm sort of Maverick, Mav, can you can you let Goose out, please? Can you let Goose out? He's ringing his bell. Goose is ringing his bell. Can you let him out, please? Thank you. Sorry.
Hey, when you gotta go,
We
you
should
gotta
just
go.
do this. We should just do this restart. Thanks, buddy.
It keeps it real, right? There's no sugarcoating, so. But
It's pretty impressive that I got him to do that after two
yeah,
weeks. He
no
just
kidding.
rings from when he was a puppy. 2 weeks, he rings his bell, and that's time to go pee pee.
That's adorable. Yeah, smart little guy, and I couldn't even hear it, so no worries there with sound or anything. So, but hi, Joan. Well, I very much appreciate again you taking the time here because I've been following your career for so long, and I've wanted to chat with you, for years ago. But I've been following your career since like the beginning, and I've never heard the story. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Doctor Kneevil is a play with Austin Powers, but I would love nickname stories, and I'm curious. Like, did you come up with this yourself, or did someone give it to you? Where did the Doctor Kneevil nickname in particular come from? I know you have a couple.
I know there's a whole bunch of them, but yeah. So that came from Bash Rutten in my Invicta days, and he like just mentioned it when he was commentating one of my fights, and it kind of stuck. And then when I was on the Ultimate Fighter, so my Twitter name and my Instagram name are Bad Mofo Jojo.
Mm-hmm.
So then I guess Fox approached me and told me that I couldn't use the Bad
Right.
Mofo name. So uh, so then I had to change. They said, "Can you change your Twitter handle? Because that's the one we're going to use." So I ended up, okay, what's my next
Yeah.
nickname? And Dr. Nevo was uh, in the running, so I took that. And actually, it's on my car registration. But
Really.
it's not Dr. Nevo, it just says Nevo. And everyone like mentions, oh, Knievel, like that's
Mm.
that's a really cool. And I'm like, it wasn't until like months I was like, where are they getting Knievel? And I was like, oh, K, they're seeing the K.
Yeah.
And so I'm like explaining to people, no, it's like Nevo.
Yeah.
It's spelled Nevo, but they're just seeing the K.
Wordplay.
So yeah. But anyway, that's how it Bash written.
Of course. Jeez. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Hearing that during one of the fights or anything. But of course, leave it to boss. Very creative guy. So that's
Yeah,
perfect.
I love it.
Awesome. And just with names, it's funny. I'm still getting like used to you cutting off the Calder in your Wood last name. Like, has that been weird for you to adjust to as well?
Yeah, and it's funny when I've been changing my name, like when I first got married and I was changing my names on everything, they were like, wait, is this a joke?
Yeah.
I'm like, no. They're like, you're really just getting rid of the Calder. And it's funny because now I'm more Scottish. Wood is a more Scottish wood.
Mm.
more Scottish word. So I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, it works out that way pretty nicely. So it's funny.
Yeah.
It's meant to
It's
be.
shorter. It's shorter because I hated like how long my surname was.
Right.
So it's perfect. With four letters, we're good.
Yeah, and then with the JoJo nickname makes it even shorter. So
Yeah. Yeah.
perfect. But I want to go back to the last fight, Joanne, because that was your comeback fight of sorts. A little bit took a little bit of a break, to return in London against Luana Carolina. Got the win. Good stuff there. Interesting scores a little bit with it being split. Most people thought you won all three, but one judge, I guess, did not. So that was what it was. But just how do you feel about the performance and the win? Having had all this time to look back on it now, and are you more happy with it, less happy, having had time? Just how do you reflect on that win?
Yeah, I feel like I just actually watched it the other day there because I like to watch my fights in my fight camp. Like when we usually like do fight study with the opponent, I like to watch myself as well
Mm.
because I feel like I can get more from watching myself uh, performing and being in those moments, what I could have done better, blah blah blah. So yeah, it's really fresh in my mind, and I think I done. Uh, a great job. I done what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to just get in there and like throw everything at her. And yeah, I liked my clinch, my elbows, and yeah, it's good to see like how creative I can be. And yeah, I got the win. That was the most important thing. Uh, and I was healthy. I came out healthier. So it's like the fight camp, if you survive the fight camp with no injuries and then the fight as well, it's just like an added bonus. So
Yeah.
I was happy with my performance, happy I got back in the win column and happy I got to do a London event. So yeah, it was a great experience. Feels like ages ago now, but
Right.
it was only a few months ago, I guess.
Yeah, definitely a great card and crazy time and all that stuff. But how important do you think it was for you to kind of take the little break to, recover yourself? Because it was kind of more about the injuries, right, before going into that fight. Just how important do you think it was to, let yourself get feeling, as good as you could be, I guess?
It was so important, and it's funny because like I'm at the end of my career, and I'm now only like I'm still learning.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and I know like taking a year off would it sounds crazy to a lot of us fighters because it's like, oh no, you can't even take a day off. You know, that mentality we all have. So for me, it was a learning curve. I was like, okay, yeah, like my body is important and my mind. You know, I feel like I go for one. I want to stay active. Yeah, that's great, but I was staying active, but I had a bunch of injuries
Right.
that weren't letting me perform 100%. So in a kind of way, it was like not smart. So yeah, definitely learning curve, and I felt like I came back better, and I had a great camp because of that because I wasn't dealing with injuries, and I could just focus on the the hard work, you know, the hard
Right.
stuff that comes along with fight camp, never mind adding injuries on top of that.
Yeah, definitely. And so, like, compared to right before that one with this one coming up here, are you about on the same wavelength, in terms of how you're feeling and, like you said, learning how to maybe you learn later, right, having gone through all these experiences, but how to make yourself feel as prepared and physically, you know, ready to go and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And just, I've always been one that I'm always there early. I'm always warming up and looking after doing the mobility and all that extra work. You know, I'm very good at that. But yeah, knowing that, oh, okay, this is not just a bump and bruise that you get during fight camp. Not that that's happened this camp, but
Right.
I'm saying like noticing that. But yeah, this camp's went great and still got another 4 weeks. It's been a nice challenge to add in the altitude training because we were going to be fighting at Salt Lake City,
Mhm.
so it's higher. So I've enjoyed that. And yeah, everything's been going good and uh, still learning. But I know like now I'm like, if I need a day off, I'm taking a day off
Yeah.
because I know that I can come back after a day off and like be 10 times better than, pushing through it. And especially getting older and just wiser, then I know it's okay. It's beneficial.
Yeah, and do you think there's like a way to, like, I don't know, if you could like go back in time kind of and tell your younger self when you were at the beginning of your career and be like, all right, remember to take days off. You'd probably be stubborn and not listen to yourself because you feel like you have to just, put in as much work and effort as you can constantly, right? So, do you think there's even a way to, give young fighters advice like that without having gone through the experience like you have now to be able to be like, all right, this is a great idea?
Honestly, I deal with it every day, like fighters in the gym and veterans as well. It's like, yeah, you're talking to me and you're sounding like you need a day off, but 9 times out of 10, they don't take that day
Right.
off because I think it's just our mentality to, oh, don't be a wuss, like keep going and sometimes you do need those days. I mean, I know some days that I'll have those feelings and I'm like, no, I'm just going to do it because I'm just going to do it. And then you end up having really good days. So it is, I feel like experience and time comes with that to get to know and go through all those hardships before you can decide yourself. Because not me telling other people, like fighters just coming up, I mean, they're going to be like, no, I ain't
Yeah.
taking a day off. And you know what? Like when I was coming up, I didn't take a day off, but it's that kind of mentality is great. But yeah, you just kind of have to listen to your body, know your body, and have people around you as well do that are listening to you. And if they can hear, hey, sounds like you really need a day off.
Yeah.
So go do something like, and you don't have to have like a day off sit on the couch eating popcorn.
Hmm.
Go do something, get out in nature, go a walk. There's other things that, and I think that with us, it's like either 100 rounds or we're doing nothing.
Yeah.
So there's has to be that kind of balance in between.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be max, don't stressing yourself out
Yeah.
as strenuous
Yeah.
as it can be.
Or
So,
come in and just do a light day, like
yeah.
something like that. Not like the extreme which we usually are.
Yeah. But again, easier said than done for some of the up and comers. So. But it's interesting too, Joanne, looking at, going from the Carolina fight, which you just had, now to this Priscila Cachoeira one. Like, you're getting set up with these matchups that are very fun, potentially, like bangers and strikers like yourself and all that. So, and Cachoeira, I mean, she's obviously Zombie Girl for a reason, right? That nickname fits her very well. So, going from that matchup to this one now, and kind of all these factors with them stylistically, just what are your thoughts on Priscilla? Obviously brings a lot of power, and just, I mean, you don't really have to wonder what you're going to get with her, right? It's kind of the same thing every time, which, not saying that's a bad thing, but helpful, I guess, for the opponent like yourself.
Yeah, I'm excited. This kind of fight like plays into my game. I feel very well. So I'm looking forward to that. And I know like the fans will love it. And she's like you says, her style is like she's coming to like throw that right hand and land that right hand. And that's perfect. I love that. I love that, like looking at it in a technical stance, like from coming from my Muay Thai background, counter and like capitalize on that with my kicks and blah blah blah. But the other side of me, I'm like, man, I just like getting in there and getting bloody. Like I know she's probably going to land one. My nose is going to bleed. Like I don't care. So it's like going to bring out that discipline side, but also that, you know what, we're just in a fight. Oh, sorry,
Oh,
someone's
all good.
calling me. Hey, if there's any more things that could go wrong, then it's gonna go wrong.
Yeah, we're
I'm
checking off
sorry.
all the boxes.
You're like, not. ever want to talk to that Jojo again.
Yep, there we go. No, no, definitely not. But
But
yeah,
yes, it's going to be an awesome fight, and I always look forward to these kind of challenges.
yeah, and I mean, I'm curious though, with like all that in mind and talking about being smarter as you know get longer in your career and all that. Is there any bit of you at all, Jojo, that like wants to be like, all right, I mean that's the expectation is that we'll go out there and have a war. Yes, that'll be fun, but we've seen later in your career you show off your great grappling skills, and like, is there any bit of you that'd be like, I can do that and just win, real easy here, take her down and get a submission and add on that way.
No, no, I don't know if you know this about Scottish people, but we find the hardest way to win or to get through life, and we
Well,
take
Paul
it.
Craig's a
And
good example there.
yes, yes, we like if there's a wrong way of doing something, we'll find it and we'll do it. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean it definitely makes things more fun. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, yeah, there we go. And I remember you mentioning before your last fight that you said, I what it was either that one or this one is the last fight in your contract. Is there? What's the status there? Is it this one or where are we at with that?
Yeah, this will be my last one on the contract. So, and we've been in talks, and it's kind of really up to me
Yeah,
what moving forward. So I'm just gonna take this fight and see what happens, and then make a decision afterwards. Because I feel like, if you start thinking, oh, is this going to be the last one and stuff, and then that can affect your
mm-hmm.
performance. So I'm trying not to think like that. So I just want to, my stepson's coming out for this one. I just want to, even if it is my last one, I just want to make sure that I'm still getting the most out of the experience and just taking it all in and giving it my all. Uh, and then, could be dead tomorrow. You just don't know. So I'm just taking it fight by fight, and yeah, we'll see what happens after this fight. I don't want to make a drastic
Yeah.
decision because I know like a lot of people make decisions and then they regret it and they come back. And I'm someone that loves to fight, so I'm guessing I'm probably going to have that reaction.
Yeah. Yeah, good to go with the flow, especially with, a pretty important thing to decide. So I think you're probably doing it right. And yeah, and especially on this card, which will be is, looking great overall, is the big, moment for everybody competing in the return of the BMF title, which I'm curious to hear like your thoughts on that, Jojo, and get everybody's thoughts really on it because it's kind of a polarizing thing. And, Justin and Dustin have both been kind of saying it's not necessary and whatnot for the fight, and like Dana said it was a one-off the first time, all these things, and people have kind of always been conflicted about it. But how do you feel just kind of about the whole idea? And if they're going to do one, we need one for the women at some point, right?
I know when it first got, I was like, oh my gosh, that's my nickname. I
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
get it. And like, how cool would that be if they did do the female version? It would be cool. But I don't know. Yeah, could maybe do open weight, add in that category. But for me, I love it. Uh, I think yeah, I just love it. I was so excited when it first got announced. So yeah, I'm all about it, and it's a cool achievement to have. It's recognized by everyone that watches UFC. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And would I love to fight for one? Yes.
Yeah, I mean
Would
it's
I like to
perfect.
fight those guys? No.
Right. Yeah, I won't mix and match that way, but I mean, hey, this matchup that you're in with Cachoeira, like that's a pretty fitting one. You guys both bring the violence in, so let's try and convince Dana. Throw it on last minute here. No,
Yeah.
but bump you to Kome, and there you go.
Oh yeah, we could probably like yeah, say, come on, you can't do guys and not the girls, especially nowadays.
Yeah, seriously.
We could guilt them into that.
Yeah. So fingers crossed for that at some point if we continue on with the BMF thing. But I got to put you on the spot real quick though, Joanne. Like, do you have a prediction for the winner of that fight?
I hate doing that because they're both uh, great fighters. No,
Fair
I
enough.
I see them stealing the fight of the night. from us.
That's pretty much a lock. Yeah, that's not fair, right?
It's not
They
fair.
should
So
have a
yeah.
secondary bonus. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, there's no real losers with that, but
I
yeah,
know.
fair enough.
Especially us. I'll be glad to get back to the hotel and watch that fight for sure as a fan.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good one for sure. And another one regarding your division though, Jojo. Like we got the reveal kind of. I mean, we knew it after the first fight, but Grasso Shevchenko too. Of course, you got the tie there with having fought Alexa before and pursuing the gold and everything. But I know that the first fight surprised pretty much everybody, but now we have the rematch coming up. Just curious your thoughts on that, and do you think it'll be much different, or just kind of what can you expect from your division's title fight?
Yeah, uh, awesome. Like shocked the world. Everyone thought Valentina was uh, unstoppable. So it was awesome to see Alexa go in there and do that in that fashion. That was a smart game plan, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see the second fight. I will be definitely tuning in to see what Valentina's like. What's her comeback to what happened? That's a lot from mentality wise, as well as like coming in and having a game plan. Is she going to come with the same game plan, like come out southpaw and change stance? So yeah, I'm really interested to see that. And for me personally, I love the both of them. Like, I'm so sorry, but they're both great girls, and so I would be happy with, if Valentina won it
Hmm.
back or Alexa kept it on. So yeah, I'm not that invested in who wins. They're both great fighters and great people. So yeah, but I'm very interested. It will be another great fight, and I think we'll all be on the edge of our seats again.
No, for sure. And it's kind of crazy to look at like how over the last like year and a half or so, like the flyweight division has really changed a lot in such a great way. Like so many kind of new faces coming in, and just everybody's gotten really good. Like I don't know if I want to say all at the same time. It's been kind of gradual, but the division's kind of loading up right now. And even what your old past opponent from the Ultimate Fighter days, Rose is coming up now. I don't know if you saw this, but that's crazy, jumping right in the mix against Furo. What in Paris in September, I think it is. But I mean, what do you think of Rose coming up as somebody who's made that jump and transition yourself? Like, how do you think she'll do with the extra weight and just all the factors that come with it?
Yeah, I feel like she will struggle because I know I've been there with these girls, and they are like so much bigger than the the straw weight. And in the past, I have struggled with that. But hey, Rose is a completely different fighter to me.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I was shocked at that. I don't know why she's coming up, but she's made that decision, and uh, I'm sure she'll go with it and rock with it. But as far as the division itself, it's crazy to see because when I was coming up, I was like, yeah, just watch. In 5 years, this is going to be the division. Once it kind of settled, everyone was like moving up, everyone was moving down, and I feel like now we're in contention with strawweight of being very, very exciting,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just great to see it all resolve, like everyone like find their way and find all these up and comers as well. It's great, it's exciting, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different kind of matchups you can make, and they're all very exciting. I mean, we just saw this past week with Hebos and Barber was kind of a crazy one. So can't go wrong. Can't go wrong right now. You love to see
Mm-hmm.
it. And just speaking of going with the flow again, JoJo, and not putting time limits on anything or whatnot. But I know you've kind of said maybe 2 or 3 more years, retiring before 40 at least. I've racked up all this
Mm-hmm.
experience now and whatnot. I'm curious, like, obviously not thinking about it, but when you have maybe imagined it before or anything, do you have like an ideal way in mind that you do want to retire? Like at home, a Scotland fight, obviously title fight would be cool, but like any kind of dream ways you're imagining closing things out. Not that we're really thinking about it just yet, but have those like thoughts come through your mind at all?
I mean, Scotland would be amazing if we could go there for the third time. That would be the perfect ending, I feel. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon
Mhm.
or any in the period that we're
Yeah.
talking. So I mean, close to that would be London or an England show, but yeah, Scotland would be perfect. But also, I'm like very grateful. I've been fighting for 20 years and had 16 fights in UFC. So, and I've done all these great experiences. So, for me, like what I was saying earlier, I don't really want to make a big fuss
Yeah.
of, hey, I'm retiring, and like, I might just leave that door open just in case.
Yes.
But uh, yeah, I feel like I've had a great experience and I'm grateful that I was part of Glasgow, Scotland. Uh, but yeah, to answer your question, that would be like the nail in the pot, the nail in the coffin, the cherry on the top. The nail in the coffin, like, doesn't sound very good, but yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go with the cherry on the top.
Yeah, yeah, definitely more sweet, and yeah, would be fitting. So, I don't know, you never know. I mean, trying to get back to all these places, so it'd be definitely nice to get back to Scotland and whatnot, and plenty of time to do so. But we mentioned Invicta off the top, Jojo, and I want to circle back to it a little bit because that was kind of an important part of I guess helping you grow, of course, and then exposure, all these things. Invicta, especially at that time, was helping everybody, and still are, of course. But I'm curious, like from your perspective, like how important you would say it was getting to go through such a special and unique, platform and stage that Invicta has presented the women with throughout just their time existing.
uh, and this is a little bit emotional for me because Shannon Knapp, like, she like took a chance with me. Like I was like, hey, I'm trying to make a go of this and I don't know if I'm gonna go anywhere because I'm little old me from
Mm-hmm.
Scotland. And she like saw my second or third fight and she contacted me and if it wasn't for her, like I wouldn't have like hit America, like hit where I was wanting to go. So if it wasn't for her like taking that chance and giving me that chance. Like I say, little me from Scotland, like had this big dream and wanting to make it in America. Uh, then I don't think I would have got to where I am now. So yeah, she took the chance, and it was funny because I had 4 fights with Invicta, and then the tough came along, and I was like naive, like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. And it was she took the time and she talked to me and she says, no, really, I think this is what you have to do. And she says, you'll always have a home here. And so, yeah, thanks to her, like, I feel like that's why I made it to where I felt like I needed to be and wanted to be at the same time. So yeah, I owe a lot to her and Invicta, and I think it's a great platform for the females coming up. Not only cause the platform they get, like she treats us like we're not her
Mm.
employees. We're her athletes. She treats us like she goes above and beyond. And just like I says, like taking that time to have these conversations. And she's helped me throughout my career and when I've had bad times as well and downtime. And she's always been there. So yeah, I owe a lot to her and Invicta, and I'm glad that I got to perform for them and be part of that show.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean to bring out the emotions, Joanne, but I appreciate the honesty. And yeah, Shannon, I've spoke to
Mm.
her before as well, and love Invicta, and definitely, I've never heard a bad thing about her, and it seems like she's definitely likes to make everybody feel like family in a way as best she can, while still, running the show a little bit. So
Yeah,
Invicta's definitely
she's the boss.
yes.
And she You wouldn't think it, and she's sweet and she's got a little voice like me, and but she's a determined and inspiring woman.
Yes, absolutely. And innovating, just constantly innovating, trying to do new things. And, since you left, have been away from Invicta, like the open scoring
Mhm.
and stuff like that. I mean, I wanted to get your thoughts on that just because, mentioning again your last fight with Carolina. And it's very clear, I think, to pretty much everyone except for the one judge, that you won, arguably all 3 rounds, definitely two at the very least. But I'm just curious, like, and you've had some, kind of interesting decisions before in your career. It just kind of happens to everyone, unfortunately. But what do you think of open scoring? Like, is this something that you would like to see more and more people do? Just, it's power to the people, power to the fighters, right? So,
Yeah,
how do you feel? I guess.
I love it, and I know like for coaches as well, like I know, and it's hard for them to be like, oh, we don't know how this is going, but uh, you need to go out and win this round. So there's that kind of like, well, do I need to, or do I need to like kind of win this round but not like take risks? So
Mm-hmm.
for me as a fighter, I feel like I would love that, like to know that you're down 2 rounds or 1 round, like you have to go out and F F and knock this person out,
Mm-hmm.
or get a sub, whatever it is. For me, I think it would make us more like, and I don't want to say this because like when you're in there, it's like very hard. So it's not really like, unless you're in there, you don't really know what I'm
Right.
talking about. But I'm saying like, if you know that you need to win, I think more fighters will take that risk
Mm.
more of like, okay, I'm going out there and I'm getting that. So yeah, for us and for the coaches that are coaching us, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny to see, the worry, I guess, at least from Dana, who has said it, is that he's afraid of people coasting like that. But when you do look at the sample size we have from Invicta now, it's like that very, very rarely has been the case. Yeah, sure, it has happened a couple times, but more people kind of go out there and either ignore it or go out and put a stamp on things, like you're saying.
And also like, because I just talked about that from the losing standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
but talking from the winning, if you know you're up 2 rounds, I totally get what you were just saying there. But if you're up 2 rounds, then for me, like if I know I'm winning, that makes me more like, okay, so now I can do like I can try like different things and be more creative,
Right.
and because you're still in a fight and you're still got your wits about you. So I feel like in a positive way that it could work both ways, but that's me as coming from my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of pile onto the performance and make it a little more fancy.
Yeah, yeah, and not worry that, oh, it could be 1-1, like then yeah,
it,
let's
it
just
eliminates
hold it.
that thought, right? So,
Yeah, and knowing that is, I think, is a good thing.
yeah, of course, like I said, knowledge is power, and that's all we're trying
Yeah.
to do here. So, who knows? Maybe someday, hopefully, but it's nice to see Invicta do that, and some other people maybe jump on, but
Or we could just not have judges and
or that go to the death.
to the death, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that would
Only
be
one
amazing.
only one person can come out of the cage, and that's the referee.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's options. There's ways we can tweak it, but anyway. All
Yeah.
right, Joanne. I don't want to keep you too much longer here, but just want to wrap up with a couple things. It's been great getting to chat with you, and I'm curious. Again, so much reflection to do because you've had such a great and fun career. I want to know, like, from your perspective right now, so far up until this point, like, do you have a proudest moment or a favorite victory, something like that that stands out to you the most when you look back, if you ever sit back and think about that stuff?
Probably the my fight the first time UFC came to Glasgow. Uh, yeah, I think the first time because there was a lot of crap going on for the lead up to that, and I didn't even know that I would get to see the fight. And then to go in there in the fight, I remember Courtney Casey, she landed a right hand, and I was like, then I remember like on the cage, and I was like, wait a minute, are we not supposed to touch gloves? So for me, like taking in all the I was in the atmosphere, and like the fans took the roof off, and I was like in that moment, and then she came out like guns blazing, landed that right hand, and I was like, oh, we're in a fight. And then I kind of threw a Maddie for the rest of the fight. And it was just, yeah. So the lead up to that, and then obviously first time in Scotland, and yeah, for sure memorable. And even the second time in Glasgow, even though I lost, but yeah, I feel like that for sure is one of my proud moments, and will always give me shivers
Yeah,
thinking about it.
understandable. I was imagining it would probably be, one of those moments like that. And again, speaking of decisions, I still think that you arguably should have won the Calvillo one. So there are things that we can look at and talk about, but we won't go down that rabbit hole. So, but in terms of, looking back on things too, Jojo, you fought so many great opponents throughout your career. Like, I'm curious, is there somebody who stands out as who you would say the toughest opponent has been so far?
Oh, the toughest? Like you mean
However you perceive
like
that.
just still standing? Okay. Uh, I don't know, like, and I'm grateful for this because I wanted my career, I wanted to fight the best, and I feel like I did. Uh, all these great fighters, I can't really say one person that stands out because they were all like awesome in their own ways. Uh, so I'll just pick my favorite, and I'll say uh, Courtney Casey,
All right, that's fine.
because she did hit me with that right hand, and I did not know that we hadn't touched gloves. And she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, and I mean just in terms of like actual physical toughness, what you almost put her away with the body shots in that one too, but she just wouldn't go, right? If I'm remembering correctly anyway. So yeah. Crazy,
Yeah,
crazy
she's a
times. All right, Jojo. Last thing I will leave you with here. I appreciate it again oh so much. The tough question I always like to ask people who I talk to for the first time, but if you never got into fighting at all, Jojo, what do you think you would have ended up doing?
ah. You want an honest
Of course.
answer? Honestly, feel like I would be fat and have probably 5 kids and be in Scotland depressed and trying to make the most of all that. But yeah, I honestly think that if I didn't like follow my dreams and my, being determined on that road of very up and down, then yeah, I would be fat, unhappy, and in Scotland with the miserable weather over there with my 5 kids running around
All right. Well, you see, I love to
working
ask.
a full-time job.
Yes. I love to ask that one because it's, don't have to worry about that, right? It all worked out very well and all that. So I appreciate the honesty, but
I did not, yeah, I am not going there.
yes, yes. Yeah, lovely Vegas and a great career that has followed. So, so made a good choice, Jojo. It all worked out. But all right. Well,
Yeah.
we can leave it off there. I appreciate it so much, and I'm looking very much forward to your fight as always, and wishing you the best of luck. Hope smooth training camp from here on out, and that you get to enjoy what you said the birthday coming up. One more? Or is there more I missed?
Yeah.
One more birthday
No,
celebration?
one more. Yeah, he's gonna be 8, the big 8. So the dreadful 8s right now. But yeah, thank you for having me on, and sorry about all the stuff that happened.
No worries, no worries. It's a part of it. So, just appreciate you taking the time, Jojo, and yeah, we'll be in touch. We'll be rooting for you and watching closely. So, best of luck with everything. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.
Awesome. Thank you. Happy Tuesday. Tuesday.
All right, take care,
Thank
Jojo.
you.